Welcome to this week's Donna and Friends, and I am so excited right now because I've got a couple of young guests with me today that I've known from another world, and now they're back, and I'm going to get an update on them. And kids, introduce yourselves. Nick, you first.
Hi, my name is Nicholas Imhoff.
And
I'm Anna Imhoff, his sister.
yes, your big sister to
I
Nick.
am.
Now, I was asking about what grade level you guys were at, and I was kind of shocked. Nick, you told me you're in the 8th grade now.
Yes.
It just seems like what? You were like 5th or something grade.
I know, it's crazy how he's just growing up.
Yeah, and well, Anna, you know, along with him, you're growing up as well. You're at a senior status right now, and
Yep.
that blows my mind.
Finally made it to this big seniors.
It's amazing. Now, both of you are heavily involved in 4-H.
Yes.
Heavily involved. And Nick, I want to start with you. There's been something that you've always kind of been focused in on and highlighted as in your 4-H focal point, and that is birds.
Mm-hmm.
And you're telling me that you still got the birds, and I figured it wouldn't be any different. But it's gotten bigger. Explain that to me, Nick.
Yes, I'm trying to start a hatchery business, and I'm trying to get the best quality poultry around I possibly can.
So you're out searching for, what is it, like the star of the bird land?
Yes,
I mean, how's this work?
The best poultry I can possibly find around.
So do you research this and go on the internet to try to find the best poultry? Is it kind of like a breeding like you would do of anything like dogs or cats, horses?
Yes.
So you really look at the genetic backgrounds,
Yes.
I'm assuming, of the birds.
Mm-hmm.
So where are these groves of birds that are highly desired? Where are they at?
Well, they are you can find some on Craigslist.
Okay.
Most of them you have just to look around for a long time till you
Okay.
find them.
So locally here, let's say within the Payne County area, have you been lucky to find some birds that meet your requirements?
In Payne County, no.
Okay, so you're searching out beyond
Yes, and
Payne
beyond.
County.
He searched all over the nation for birds, really.
Okay, so it's a nationwide hunt that's
Yes.
on. Now, would the birds be shipped once you found them? How does that
No,
work?
I usually go and get them. Or
Oh,
they'll
so
ship
you get a
packing
trip
eggs.
out of this too. Well, what's the farthest distance that you've done that?
I'd say Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay, so Little Rock has some pretty smart birds.
Yes, there's a guy there, and he has about 30 breeds of poultry.
Well, you know what? I really kind of believe this because Arkansas is kind of well known for their poultry, and I have a lot of relatives in Arkansas, and they've worked in the poultry industry. So I'm with you on that. You know, I hadn't thought about it, but our neighboring state, Arkansas, they're pretty hip on their poultry. Absolutely. What locations have you found birds that you would like to go and get a bird from?
Mainly Texas and
Texas.
Arkansas.
Okay, so
He also
neighboring.
talked about going Washington or Oregon or way up there somewhere to get.
Okay, so there's
them.
some.
To the National Poultry Show.
Okay, so there are some birds up that way as well. Now, you just recently kind of expanded, literally, the headquarters for the birds. Tell me about that.
Yes, I built me a 20 by 30 foot barn.
Did you do it all by yourself?
No,
The
my
little-
dad and my grandpa
Okay.
helped me.
So it was the guy's project?
Yes.
Yeah, so is it like a little Taj Mahal for your birds? or-
Yes, I'm trying to get an air conditioning unit in a form.
Oh,
It's
okay.
so cool because they
Well,
have
it is
this-
hot. It is hot.
It is.
It
They've been-
is. It is. And you love your birds dearly, I know.
I had to put a water system on top of their house today to cool it off because it was so hot in there.
Oh my goodness. So, with all of that in mind, you show your birds through 4-H.
Yes.
And there enters 4-H again, and that's something, again, that you've both been so involved in, I think it has taught you so many things. What's your highest honor in 4-H for showing a bird?
I'd say I've gotten grand champion on pigeons, ducks, and geese.
Okay.
Most.
So you have done the pigeons, the ducks, the geese,
Yes.
and chickens as well.
Yes, I've done chickens.
What's your favorite of those? Can you pick between saying the duck or the geese? You know, the ducks or the geese? Which
I'd say
one?
the geese.
So the geese, and I think they're a beautiful, beautiful bird. I really do. I love to watch geese. I think they're very, very pretty. But then chickens as well, when they really have the beautiful feather. I mean, it's kind of a hard decision, I would think, between those different birds, those species, as to what could be your favorite. Nick, what would you say 4-H has done for you thus far that you probably wouldn't have not got to done?
I would say my showing techniques, how to
Okay.
show my poultry and show other types of livestock.
And it's such an amazing thing because 4-H has also been able to give him entrepreneurship skills. He also has an egg business which he goes around and sells them, and he's able to make money to be able to finance his project.
So we could buy eggs from Nick.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Anna, you're going to graduate. 4-H has done a lot for you. What are your future plans?
I plan to attend OSU and major in pre-med, and then I would like to go on to medical school.
Anna, you've done very well at public speaking, and you've been in a lot of things with 4-H. What's going to be your favorite memory about 4-H?
Oh my gosh, my favorite memory, probably last summer I got to go on the Citizenship Washington focus trip, and we went to Washington, D.C. for 10 days, 50 of
Wow.
Oklahoma delegates all
Wow.
together, and it was just the funnest thing ever because we got to explore the nation's history as well as learn about it and be able to do it as a group with like your closest friends, and it was just the most rewarding experience.
That is really exciting. Well, I would really like to have you both come in and give me some updates from time to time.
Definitely.
On what's happening. I mean, it's your big year. And Nick, you're going to be crossing over from that 8th grade over into 9th grade, which is really getting into consideration of a high school status. And so I'd really like to have you guys come back. Of course, I always love updates from your birds, you know that. So I'm so lucky to be sitting in the studio with a young lady who's familiar with Anna and Nick and Anne-Marie Griffin. I asked you to stay because I really wanted to visit with you about the fact that you have been in 4-H and you've kind of been with Anna
Yes.
a little bit. I thought we
Yes.
might find something out about Anna
Yes.
today we didn't know about. And then also, I don't know, about Nick. But now you've got a little sister.
I do. She's 9 years old and her name is Georgia Ann.
Now, is Georgia Ann in 4-H?
No, she's not. She has other interests. She's a competitive dancer.
Okay, yes. And when you're a competitive dancer, that can take up every bit of your time because competitive dancing it's major.
It is.
It is a lot of work. I had a daughter that did that.
Yes.
And boy, oh boy, that'll keep you going.
It does.
So she's kind of the theatrical dancer,
Yes,
but now
she
you're
is.
quite the public speaker.
I am. I love public speaking. It's kind of where I found I kind of can be myself and I really enjoy myself.
Now, when did you join 4-H? You said 9. So when do you make the move in a sense to FFA?
Well,
What's that transition like?
in our particular program, you can start as an 8th grader, which is at the middle
Okay.
school, and so you kind of get introduced to what the program's about. But in other programs, you might not start till you're a freshman, so you would
Okay.
go through 4-H till you met high school.
I think back, I went to school here in Cushing, and I was recalling that you really didn't start being able to get into FFA till that freshman year.
Exactly.
So I thought, that may have changed just a little bit. I want to clarify that for people that are out here watching that are thinking about perhaps getting their kid into 4-H, which, by the way, you can do at 5 years
Yes.
old with the clover
Clover
buds. That's so
And you can continue through 4-H if
Okay.
you don't want to make the transition, like Anna. She's still
Yes.
a member of 4-H.
Right. But these are all, we have great organizations here in our community, and 2 of them, of course, are 4-H and then FFA, because it's a great way, don't you think, for our youth to learn so much and be involved here in this community?
Well, 4-H and FFA have similar morals and values, but at the end of the day, they really focus on, of course, agriculture, and it's so great to know. You're so much more thankful and grateful to know where your food came from and how hard that person had to work to feed you and nourish you and clothe you.
Yeah.
And so it's so rewarding to know that, but also we focus on leadership skills and how you can go out into the world and be successful.
Absolutely, absolutely. besides public speaking, what is your favorite thing to do in FFA when you're not speaking?
Well, I actually show livestock. I show beef heifers, and I've been doing that actually since I was about 7 years old. And I
My
showed
goodness.
at open shows until I was 9 years old, where I was able to actually show as a member of the 4-H. And that has been so great because I have learned an unbelievable amount of responsibility, and that animal's needs come before my own. It eats before my own, and it teaches you this amount of selflessness.
Yes, absolutely. So what's the highest accomplishment you've ever received when showing livestock?
I actually went to OYE, which is the world's largest show with thousands and thousands of head of cattle, and I placed reserve grand champion in the Hereford breed, which was such a great honor.
What does it feel like at a moment like that when you're handed that ribbon? Now, do you receive a trophy as well? I know the ribbons are a big thing.
Well, if you make it to that level, which it takes a lot of ribbons to get to that level, you actually, depending on the breed, I got like a trophy type thing, but it wasn't like the little plastic trophy. It was
Right,
more of a
it's-
marble type.
Yes, I mean, it's pretty prestigious.
It is.
Yes, it really is. And this is something in small rural communities that it's very well known. But you know, there are probably parents or youth watching this right now. Maybe, you know, we always assume that people have heard everything about our
Exactly.
groups and what have you. And there's probably someone out there watching right now that may decide, hey, I've never thought about being in 4-H, or I've never thought, or perhaps a parent is thinking that, and you look for ways to keep your children involved.
Yes.
And I'm sure that you've been, what would you be doing if you weren't doing all this? Can you see yourself even doing anything different?
Well, this is such a huge part of my life, and I've always said I've had a passion for agriculture before I even really knew what it was. Just growing up in this background.
You know, and Maria, I want to speak to that just a little bit. Now, I think we got to kind of throw in what your dad does.
My dad is a cattle marketer, and so he sells cattle at the stockyards in Oklahoma City, but then he also has his own sale barn that he runs with a partner of his, and they sell cattle.
So you truly have been around this all of your
Yes.
life. And so 4-H plus FFA is really kind of a natural fit for you.
It really is.
But by you being in public speaking, it shows kind of the variety that 4-H and FFA both have to offer as well. It's
Yes.
not just about livestock. But what would
Exactly.
you think if the Cushing area could offer an agricultural farm to students that otherwise wouldn't get the experience that you kind of naturally are getting to have?
Well, you see, I'm very fortunate with my family's background, and we also have our own show barn. But when I go to school and I meet these other students, I realize that not everybody has the great opportunities I have. And so I feel like this would be a great way to open the door to so many more students who may be
Yes.
so interested, and kind of teach them the things that I've been able to learn throughout my experience. And I really just can't even stress enough how important this will be in our future.
I think that's a great thing, a great addition to this community is to think about an agricultural farm so that all students can learn the process of what you've been able to learn. Last thing I want to ask you, is there anything in particular, memory-wise, that you want to tell me about Anna? What's your favorite memory of Anna?
Well, obviously, Anna and I grew up going to church together, and so from a very young age, we were acting and singing in different church events. But when I got into 4-H, I really got to look up to Anna, being so much older than me, and I got to see her accomplishments, and it kind of was that driving force of I want to accomplish things within the 4-H and eventually the FFA.
Well, I'll tell you what, Anne Marie, this is really exciting to meet you and to see that Anna not only is an outstanding young lady herself, but she has outstanding friends as well. Man, I'll
Thank
tell
you.
you what. Will you come back and visit with me and give me
Yes.
some updates? Because I would
Yes.
love to have them about your public speaking and the livestock. And let's push this agricultural farm thing.
Yes.
Let's get this thing going for kids in this small community. All right, we'll be back. You know, here again, I don't want you to touch the mouse. Keep it right here.